Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while compared to the streak I usually adopt in posting my videos, but it's fine. I'm back and I'm here. As you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to take you guys through a big sister advice video, and I'm super excited about that video because honestly, I've been dying to talk about it. I've been dying to make such a video, and I'm really happy that I get to. So I'm going to give you guys 7 big sister advice to start. If you guys end up liking this video and you guys want more videos like that, or if you guys have any comments that you'd like to leave, don't hesitate to leave in the comment section. We're going to get straight into this video. So I'm going to be looking at my screen because I wrote them down right here, and I'm going to just be making sure I'm saying them right and just looking at them as I'm talking, okay? So, the first big sister advice that I would like to tell you guys, and it's something I've also mentioned in my other videos, is to not make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. I know it can be very easier said than done. Can you close the door? It can be easier said than done, but honestly, sometimes anger and sadness and other emotions will really get to you. It will really affect you, and it can be really hard to control. But like I've said, and something I've also learned this year is to really, sometimes you need to take a couple hours, you need to take a couple of days, a couple of weeks. Don't let people make you think that calming down takes a couple minutes. No, to each their own. Sometimes it can take much longer. If you need a couple of weeks to calm down about a situation before you come back to it and make a smarter decision, so be it. That will help you. It will save relationships down the line. It will save friendships. It will save opportunities. It will save bridges with important people that you might need in the future. It will save connections. So you just need to, that's something that you need to work on. So everybody has their own strategy. My strategy about a situation is to just not say anything about it and I literally take days to calm down about a situation. I really play it in my head over and over again. And I really take time within myself to really come back from the situation in the nice way. And I've told you guys, for example, track I've just been so angry about a couple of situations, and just the things I was thinking to say would have just ruined my opportunity in the team. So obviously, I've been taking a couple of days to just take deep breaths and know how I'll react about it, because your source of anger or your source of sadness or your source of the reaction you're having is valid, but the way you're gonna act upon it or the behavior you're gonna express based on that source will not be. So yes, your anger and your reaction is justified, but your behavior won't be, and there's nobody that can save you from it. The second advice that I have, big sister advice, is to not buy razors. Honestly, to shave, if you're shaving your armpits or your legs or any other areas, I stay away from razors because they create bumps and it can just be itchy and really uncomfortable. And if you do end up buying a razor, invest in a good quality razor and a good expensive razor that will save you down the line, and that will be good for you, because razors are just, it's not the best thing that you can do. And in terms of products, I personally recommend shaving creams or shaving sprays, and Nair will never sponsor me because of that. Don't use Nair. Nair will literally create chemical burns. I used it on my armpits and I had chemical burns, and it was so bad because it was just horrible. The way Nair works is that you have to leave it for a couple minutes, and after that you have to rinse it. While in the time frame of the amount of minutes that I had to leave it for, it started burning me, and I had some scars in my armpits, and it was just so horrible. So honestly, invest in, if you're going to buy razors because you're a razor girl, which is honestly all fine, or you're a razor boy, that's perfectly fine, but invest in a razor that is of high quality. Personally, I don't recommend razors. I think you should invest in a shaving cream or shaving spray. It doesn't hurt. It's perfect. Couple minutes, all your hair is gone. And I personally use Veet. I told a couple of my friends that I got chemical burns from Nair, and they told me, we're off Nair. I use Veet, and I hopped on Veet, and Veet is the same thing as Nair. You have to leave it a couple minutes, but there's no burn or itchy feeling. It just feels amazing, and the smell is so tolerable as well. So yeah, and honestly, that kind of goes in hand in hand. Go for products that work for your skin and that work for you. I know a lot of the times we can be influenced by social media, or just honestly, sometimes we may need tutorial for a couple things, but invest in products that work for you. and that will work for you. Use social media as a guidance for things that you may want or need. Use social media as a guidance for things you may want or need, but don't let that dictate you or characterize or personalize you. It should be a guidance for what you do, and then you personalize yourself. Anyway, next tip. I personally think that you should mix, or just like if you're somebody who's in college or somebody who's growing, or you're a teenager, or you're not necessarily like a grown woman or somebody who's financially fully established yet, I think you should mix cheap perfumes with more expensive ones. That's personally what I do, because not only it saves you money, but it also helps you invest in your body, and you can really feel like, okay, I'm that girl. So that's what I do. I will buy products that are like kind of more on the cheaper side. I buy products that are more in between, and then I'll buy products that are more expensive for me, from my definition of what expensive can be. Somebody's definition of expensive, it's to each their own. It depends on everyone. Some people it can be like over 200 to 300 for perfume. Some people it can be 100. Some people it can be 80. It really depends on anyone. But just tailor, kind of like what I just said. Tailor for what works for you. Okay. And invest in body oil. Body oil will save you. Don't hop on trends. Do what works for you. Yesterday I bought 2 body oils, and I've just been so happy. I've had body oils before, but I've really reinvested in it again, and I'll show you guys how it looks like. I'll get it right now. Okay, so this is the first body oil that I bought. As you guys can see, this is more for like collagen, and it really helps like for your skin and stuff like that. And this is like closer to having no scent. So it does have a scent, but it's so subtle and it's perfect. And I put it right after I've applied lotion and right before I put perfume. So this is like perfect for me, and this is amazing. And this is another body oil. It's a shimmering oil, and this one has more of an obvious scent. It smells so good, and also has little glitters on it. So when you put it on your skin, you can shine and whatever. So these are the 2 body oils that I bought literally yesterday. I've had another body oil for the summer that I've been using, and it's this body oil, and this one is a shimmer coconut body oil that I've been using in the summer. I got this like last summer, and these body oils will honestly, they're so amazing. Like honestly, like getting body oil that works for you, works for your skin, and that you can apply before or after perfume depending on what your preference may be, is honestly something that I think investing in it doesn't even have to be crazy expensive. Like this is from Winners, and this was like, I think this was like $10. And this is also $10. And it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. You can work towards like getting things that are more affordable, and then down the line, things that are going to be a little bit more expensive for you. My next tip, my next big sister advice, which is my 4th big sister advice, is honestly for makeup. Like, work towards makeup that enhances your features, that works for you. So I feel like a lot of people are so hooked to social media that they think, oh my god, the next trendy thing that pops up for makeup or whatever, I need to hop on that. No. Go for what works for you. What may be working for somebody else's skin, for somebody else, may not work for you. And I see a lot of people, like, it's not bad to ask for a makeup tutorial and things like that, but use it as a guidance, not for something that personalize what will work for you. And yeah, so for example, like, in terms of foundation, like for example, if you go to Sephora, like they can do testing on your skin. They can show you what really would work depending on your shade, depending on your type of features and things like that. So yeah. And another makeup tip, because I've just been talking about makeup, and that's also my 5th big sister advice. This is really for the girls. I'm so sorry, guys. But honestly, you guys, if you're like kind of like saying you're kind of like in college or you're in your teens, and you can't really afford to spend money on different products, one big sister advice that I do have for you is that you can buy a big eyeshadow palette, either whether it's from Sephora or whether it's from the beauty supply. I have so many makeup products from the beauty supply that work perfectly for me. It doesn't all have to be extremely expensive. Sometimes these eyeshadow palettes will have like a pink or red eyeshadow palette, a shimmery one, a black one, a brown one, and literally you can use that one eyeshadow palette. You can use the darker brown for a bronze as a bronzer. You can use the shimmery one for the corner of your eyes or for your nose. You can use the pink or the red one for your blush. You can use the black one for your eyebrows. Like, you can literally invest in one big good eyeshadow palette and use it as something that can work for your entire face. And this is like such a life hack, and it really helps. So you can just use it for your entire face, and it really works for you and really helps, and it's gonna be perfect. The next big sister advice, which is my sixth big sister advice, is oral hygiene. Invest in your oral hygiene. And I know a lot of people might be watching this like, Val, this is like so obvious, but you'd be surprised in the environments that you go in, the amount of people who you can just tell don't invest in their oral hygiene. Not because I'm a judgmental person, but just like talking to you, you know? And I've honestly very much invested in my oral hygiene. What woke me up is getting braces. I got braces in 2020, so about like, no, I'm lying. In 2019, I got braces and I had to floss. Flossing, I got a tongue scraper this year, um, Listerine, different things. Like you just need to invest in your hygiene. It's really important. It's not just oral hygiene. Like I said, perfume for your body, lotions for your skin, just things that will make you feel prettier, that make you feel better, and that work for you. And the last big sister advice that I have, which is probably going to be the biggest one or the one I'm going to spend the most time talking on, is to stop having I'm stuttering. Let's restart that. My last big sister advice, which is my seventh one, is to stop having the victim mentality. And I know I can get attacked for this, so I'm going to navigate this topic very slowly. So, by that, I mean that I understand that there's a lot of unfortunate circumstances that may put an individual at a disadvantage in society. For example, trauma, environmental factors, finances, money, socioeconomic status, gender, race, and I'm not, how do I say this? I have to navigate this topic slowly. I'm not talking, there's some topics that obviously I cannot touch on and that I won't be touching on because it's not my place to speak about. I'm only speaking about the topics that I feel like I can. And by the way that I mean when I say stop having a victim mentality is that I understand that there's a lot of people who like to stay in the suffering condition. And I can very comfortably say this because I was one of these people as well who who don't like the fact that they're suffering, but they've grown up in an environment where they're so used to being in a disadvantage or in a suffering state. Like they're constantly suffering, they're constantly going through trauma to the point where they kind of become comfortable with that suffering. So they become comfortable and they start kind of like living by it. So now it comes, not only it's your trauma, it's your suffering, it starts becoming an excuse. It starts becoming a barrier. It starts becoming an obstacle. It starts being something, it kind of starts becoming a safety net that these people start using in every single situation. And like I've said, I can comfortably speak on it because I was one of these people. And without knowing, these people refuse to change. These people refuse to take a step forward. These people refuse to create a better life for themselves because they're so comfortable in the way that they're suffering and that they refuse to get out of it. And that's what kills a lot of people. And one day, one thing that woke me up is that one day I told myself, like, you cannot, like, yes, you've got all this trauma, yes, you've got all these things that you're going through, but you, in society, when something happens to you or when you're expected to do something, nobody's gonna look at you and tell you, oh, well, since your parents didn't do this, we're gonna excuse this for you. Life keeps moving, people keep moving, society keeps moving, and nobody's going to make excuses for you. So you shouldn't make excuses for yourself, and you should get out of that victim mentality. And obviously, I'm not. This is such a broad topic with such a broad spectrum, and there's a lot of different things that it touches that I'm not directly addressing, or that obviously this is like a black and white answer. Like, stop victimizing yourself. This is just a black and white, simple things, yes or no. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a lot of different circumstances that are more complex than this and require deeper understanding, which I'm clearly not addressing now. But some things, and one thing that obviously woke me up is financially. For me, I live in an environment where I have no financial safety, no financial net. So if I were to fall financially, I would either barely make it. And obviously, it's a very stressful situation to be in, and it's very scary. And I've had a lot of excuses for that before. Like, for example, I was not allowed to have or I was not really permitted to have a job until really, 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 really recently, barely a year ago when I started university when I was 17. Before that, I wasn't really allowed to even have a job. So building myself financially was literally, I was in an environment that restricted that financial freedom. So for me, it's easy now to go into my adulthood financially and just be like, okay, well, since I wasn't allowed to financially build myself, I'm stuck. I'm never going to build. I don't have any money. It's sad. Boo-hoo. Sad story. But it was really hard for me because my first job was a tutoring job and I worked once a week and I made $18 an hour. And obviously, starting university, having nothing for you to help you, or having barely anything under you to help you, and having to having so many things university and so much stress, like it just felt impossible. And still now it still does feel impossible. Things have obviously gotten better, but it's still a little bit hard. And so that's kind of like another thing. um Another thing that I also wanted to address is trauma. Like, I've known a lot of people who use trauma as an excuse for a lot of things. As somebody who's gone through trauma, I've always used the excuse that I just don't care. um And I've seen a video about this on TikTok, and the person was basically saying, I don't care if you've been, and this is a very sensitive topic, and people in the comments can come for me. The video I saw on TikTok was basically saying, I don't care if you've been assaulted, I don't care if you've gone through this, I don't care if your parents died, I don't care if your dog died, I don't care if you've been beaten when you were young, etc. They were just giving examples of traumatic things that may have happened in someone's life. But they're basically saying that the second you start using that as an excuse to start treating people another way, that's when it becomes an issue. Because I understand that people may have gone through unfortunate circumstances. However, the people that you're treating badly also have their own battles, you know? So for me, it's like, yeah, I've gone through this. Personally, I've gone through a lot of trauma that I'm still trying to heal from, and I've gone through a lot of things. But it's like, if I'm going to use that as an excuse to not build myself, as an excuse to just have a constant victim mentality, I'm never going to evolve. And like I said, I've had that victim mentality. Personally, for me, the reason was, when you're not heard, when you're not seen, when you feel like you're constantly taking without being heard, like you're constantly going through some things and nobody's kind of like seeing you, nobody's trying to understand you. Now you're going to start victimizing yourself. You're kind of like going to express that in other areas of your life. You're going to start victimizing yourself for the littlest things because when you needed to be heard, you weren't. But I forcefully had to get out of that mentality because there's nobody that's going to save you. And at the end of the day, nobody cares about your story. You have to get up and make a name for yourself. Nobody cares about your story. Nobody cares about what you've been through. You have to get up and you have to build for yourself. You have to be better. When you act a certain way, nobody's going to look at you and be like, oh yeah, well, her parents beat her when she was young, her parents did this to her when she was young, so it's fair. No, people are going to look at you and your character, what you did, and they're going to accuse you. And that's something my mom told me. And I just thought to myself, it's not fair, because with everything that you guys made me go through, it's not fair that now you're turning around and telling me that if I do something, the blame's going to be on me. But unfortunately, it's true. So this is one of the advice that you can't use the excuse of, oh, I wasn't taught this, I wasn't taught that. You have to get out of it somehow. You just have to. And like I said, it's a broad spectrum. Sorry guys, my video cut because my storage is low, but basically what I was saying when it cut is that I know it's a broad spectrum and there's different complex circumstances and situations, and I'm not addressing that. But I also wanted to add a little bonus advice that you can use social media as a guidance for your makeup, your hair, the way you dress, everything. But don't let it dictate it. Use it as a guidance. I see a lot of people trying to copy and paste from social media, trying to be people that they're not. Use it as a guidance for who you truly want to be. Personalize yourself, but don't let it dictate. Anyway, so this is the video. If you guys want a part 2 of Big Sister Advices, honestly, leave it in the comments, let me know. Or if you guys want topics you want me to address for that, let me know as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another lifetime.